Shocking details you missed in Bridgerton. Bridgerton made us all fall in love with the Regency era. The dynamic cast with such elegant costumes and amazing plot won our hearts. Based on Julia Quinn's best-selling novel, Bridgerton was the best adaptation of the era. Hello and welcome back to Flixorama. In this video, we will be talking about all the shocking details you missed in Bridgerton. If you are eagle-eyed, then you may have spotted these, but make sure you stay until the end because I bet you haven't seen them all. Without further ado, let's dive right into these details. The reoccurring bee. When the season starts, before entering the Bridgerton house for the very first time, the audience is shown a bee on the door's handle. This bee is often seen on clothes, and it even appeared on the windowsill when Daphne was giving birth towards the end of the season. This bee is actually a nod to Julia Quinn's novel, which addresses the death of Edmund Bridgerton. Mr. Bridgerton died from a bee sting. Moving on, the appearance of the bee in the series finale hints that the next season will be about Anthony, who became the patriarch of the family when Edmund Bridgerton died. The show creator Chris Van Dusen talked about the bee and said it is a very important symbol and thematic element on the show. Buckingham renovations. In Bridgerton, we are shown King George III and Queen Charlotte's house that is undergoing renovation. This wasn't a coincidence to show a place that is under work, but it was actually intentional. The showrunner, Van Dusen, revealed that during the Regency era, the royals were transitioning the residence from Buckingham House to Buckingham Palace, so the show wanted to give an accurate picture of the Regency era's history. Each family has its own color. Each family in Bridgerton has their own color palette. These color palettes reflects the mood, intentions, and social status of the families. The Bridgertons mostly wear blue, green, silver, and white colors. The costume designer shared her thoughts behind these colors as she said, "Bridgertons are the prominent family of the social season, so we wanted their color palette to be powdery. These pale blues, silvers, and greens that feel like whispers of color." On the other hand, the Featheringtons were bright colors like orange, yellow, and green. The show's costume designer talked about the Featheringtons' color palette and shared, "The Featheringtons are new money, and Portia needs to marry her daughters off. She sets the tone for them as a family, and their color palette is overly citrus because she wants those girls to be seen." The Hastings mostly wear darker colors like black, red, and golden tones. Painful corset. The pain from wearing a corset to shape the woman's body appears when we see Daphne has a cut from it. This scene showed the discomfort that women had to go through to meet the demands of society back in the Regency era. In episode 1, we saw Prudence Featherington bend so that her maid could tighten the corset. Her mother was disappointed because the daughter's waist was larger than an orange and a half. What? That's just crazy. Modern pop songs play in Bridgerton. While the show is based in the Regency era, the songs in the show are from 200 years later. The show included some popular modern-day pop songs by famous artists. For example, at the first ball of the show, Ariana Grande's "Thank You, Next" was played, and we heard "Wildest Dreams" by Taylor Swift in the background of Simon and Daphne's love scene in the rain. Orchestral renditions of the songs like "Girls Like You" by Maroon 5, "In My Blood" by Shawn Mendes, and "Bad Guy" by Billie Eilish were also created by Chris Bauer, along with the Vitamin String Quartet and Duomo. The chessboard. When Mrs. Bridgerton invites Lady Berbrook for tea, she has a hidden agenda to uncover the truth about Lord Berbrook. During the scene, we see a chessboard in the background. The chessboard actually reflects how Violet played her game like a chess player to get what she wanted. Finally, she was able to save her daughter from Lord Berbrook by uncovering his secret with the help of her houseworkers. Bird feather accessories and cages. We see a lot of bird feather accessories worn by the characters in Bridgerton, and we also see cages placed as decorations. These accessories and cages are a metaphor for women who were confined by society's rules in the Regency era. These cages were mostly prominent at a ball, where suitors were looking for their potential wives. The showrunner, Van Dusen, referred to this ball as the Bird Ball, where gentlemen were strutting around like peacocks for attention. In episode 5, Eloise sheds light on this when she says, "I never understood the fashion for her feathers. Why would a woman want to draw more notice to the fact that she's like a bird squawking for a man's attention in some bizarre ritual?" Bridgerton had so much more implicit information than it shared explicitly. Every little aspect of the show had a deeper meaning behind it. The show's creators did a phenomenal job. And now it's time to draw the curtains. If you notice some more hidden details, do not hesitate to share them in the comments below. Subscribe to Flixorama, and while you're here, go ahead and click on one of these 2 videos on your screen. See you there! Until then, take care and stay tuned!